Well, hello. Here we are back again at the lettuce experiment to see how many nutrients are left in it. This is week 2. We'll just go over and have a look. We've had a fair bit of growth. The biggest one in front of me was the one that had the full strength nutrients from my wastewater from the hydroponic system. It's grown pretty good for 2 weeks. The other one, which was half strength, seems to have grown about maybe half the size, which you would expect, but I probably would have expected a bit more out of them in colour wise. They're fairly green, but there's a little bit of yellowy on the edges. Like, it just looks like it's lacking a little bit of nitrogen, so you can see it probably a little bit more on the other one with half strength. But we're going to get a lettuce to eat, that's for sure. But I think we are lacking a few nutrients, so I think I'll have to empty my nutrient reserve tank there. Well, less than 2 weeks. I've been doing it 2 weeks, and I think there's not that many nutrients left in it, because I'd say they should be really booming if they had enough left in them. So, and I've also just started another 2 as well. These are a little bit different lettuce. These are green oak lettuce. They've got a bit of a cut edge on them and that, but I think they grow a little bit bigger than the minuets I was growing there, so just put a bit more strain on the nutrients and see what happens. But just after 2 weeks, I'd say that it's definitely showing that it's not packed full of a lot of nutrients, especially nitrogen. So I think I'm going to have to shorten my time when I empty my reservoir from my tomatoes. And there's also another reason, is I've noticed that especially over here, it's going a little bit on the yellow side, and it's just emptied out the nutrients. So I'll definitely be going back down to probably 10 days, I'd say, instead of 14. But I'll just give you a bit of a wider shot of them. Growing a fair bit. Everything was going pretty good, but the last few days I have noticed they've sort of gone not quite that dark green. So definitely going to shorten the time, because going by the lettuce, because you're trying to grow a small little lettuce out of half the reservoir nutrients, and that same water is trying to grow 3 of these big tomatoes. So I think there's definitely showing there everywhere that I have to shorten my time. They're gobbling up the nutrients more than what you would expect. But we've got tomatoes on now. I'll just see if I can get in here. This is going to be the big Bertha in here, I'd say. He's not too bad at all. He was that big flower I showed you last time. It's grown a bit of a double bunger. We got some good ones here. I'll just go around this way if we can get in here. Have a look at the whole truss. They're just coming on good now. But also got our second truss here. It's got some tomatoes on as well. And then we go up here, and here's the third truss flaring away, pretty thick. And then of course we've got our fourth one there. But another problem I've run into is I've got these tomato clips, and they're about 25 mils, but I've measured them about 27 mils in diameter. And the stalk here is just about pushing them apart. They're at its maximum. They're just about popping it off. And I've got another one over here. This is the second one here. Don't know if I can get in to see it, but it is so tight around there, it's ridiculous. So those stalks are very thick. Look at the size of this truss. Huge. So it's grown pretty good too. Let's move it up there. It's got up there. Third truss is coming out at the top. And this one here's got some beautiful black Russian tomatoes. It's a really good form one there. Oh, there's a couple actually. There's another one there. They get a bit gnarly on the bottom, but I think that's caused by we had a cold snap here after the last video. We dropped from 20 degrees at night to 8 degrees for a couple of days, and I believe at the certain stage when the fruit is developing, the flower can split from the really cold weather, and you sort of get a bit of a double bunger can form must upset the genetics a little bit, and you get double tomatoes and that sort of thing. But the others that formed a few days later after that, they seem to all go good and round. But one advantage of all that is these tomatoes here. They look a bit gnarly on the bottom, but they'll make a bigger tomato. So we might have a shot at getting a good tomato out of those gnarly looking ones. But probably everything else is going pretty good with it, except just showing a slight bit of nutrient deficiency, I reckon. We'll see what a couple of days on the new nutrients make. Just one other thing, I know it's not quite hydroponics, but we've got a bit of a new garden going here in the soil. I've got some capsicums here. Just give you a look at one. They're not much, everyone's seen what a bloody little capsicum seedling looks like, but just show you what they're starting like. And I'm going to try to grow them up on strings up to the roof here again on this side, and grow them like in a greenhouse, split them into two and just grow them in single stems. But the only trouble I've got here at this place here, there's only 3 hours direct sunlight. But if you can grow them in those gloomy greenhouses in the middle of winter over there, surely I've got a chance at it. But we'll see, could be a failure, but we never know. And up here, just give you a look at the old sorghum again. Still growing, but we've had the cooler weather which slowed it down a bit. And as you can see, it's a bit windy. I hope you can hear us. But that's about it really. Just that, just in summary, I'd say 2 weeks once the flowers start to turn into fruit is too long for my system anyhow. I'm going to have to reduce the time it takes down to 10 days. See how we go. But the lettuces showed that up. That, heck, you can just barely grow alright lettuce out of half the nutrients, and you're trying to grow 3 big tomatoes in there. There's obviously not enough nutrients left, so they were all gone. And another thing is, anyone who's starting up one of these systems, your reservoir tank is going to be too small to what you think. These tomatoes can easily, and they're not even fully grown, use 2 litres a day of water. So yes, you've got to have a bigger reservoir than what you probably think, and also go to what Brock says, freshwater reserve. That's what you need. So once this is all finished, I'll definitely change my system back to how they do it, because it's a better way, easier way. But this is only my starter, so just be aware of that. They use a lot more water than what you think. Alright, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.